this is a highly anticipated video, maybe one of my most requested ever. You guys don't know what you're getting yourselves into. You really don't know what you're getting yourselves into. Obviously, I'm going to give my usual disclaimer, which is especially pertinent when you're talking about an entire group of people, like Irish girls. Not every Irish girl from every place does the same thing or acts the same way. Human beings are individuals, but this is a list, and it's full of generalizations, and that's what makes it
a list.
So, for example, if you're an American, use your American charm. That might work for her. Or she might not be interested. And that's where that sentence should end. Okay, we've emphasized people are different. Now let's get on with the list. Coming in at number 10, Irish girls are not good at taking compliments. Growing up, if somebody gave me a compliment, my instant reaction would always be to tell them to shut up, or no it's not, or downplay whatever it was they were complimenting. For example, we've talked about how Irish women usually respond with where they bought something and how cheap it is if complimented on it. And usually, if somebody gives an Irish girl a quite generic compliment like,
"You are so beautiful,"
an Irish girl is quite likely to respond with, "How would you ever f*** off?" To the outsider, that might come across as being ungracious, but that's not where we're coming from. Irish women are very savvy to men's compliments, and as well as downplaying what we have to friends and stuff, another thing that we will do is try and tell a guy, "I've got your number, I know what you're playing at, I know what you want." A better way to compliment an Irish girl is trying to be original, so saying something like,
"I really like your freckles, I really like how much work you put into that."
Something like that actually would be more likely to work than just telling her something standard like, "I think you're very pretty." And if you already think Irish girls are too much hard work, maybe jump off this video now, because it's only going to go on from there. Coming in at number 9, if you want to treat us, get creative. Irish girls are very independent, and we don't like you to imply that we can't hold up our side. So if you want to treat us, you need to get creative. Or be prepared to have an argument. Never ever presume to order for an Irish girl. She'll take that as an insult of the highest degree. Irish girls know what we want and will do it for ourselves. When it comes to paying the bill, you should definitely offer, but don't be surprised when a girl dips into her own pocket. At this point, you are going to get in a little bit of a bickering contest. This is a playful part of courtship, and how you handle it is very much dependent on that personal relationship that you two have. But she will insist that she's going to pay, and you will also insist that you're going to pay, and that's just part of the game. It's just a thing. But at the same time, if you do think that paying for something will impress her, you need to get to the till first, before she even notices. At this point, I'm going to sing a song. Nobody said it was easy. Number 8. Pet names are generally a no-no. When people in Ireland have been going out a while, you will hear them calling each other generic names like babe and honey and petal. But don't think calling a girl you're about to go on a first or second date with baby is going to do anything to impress her. Far too broad and non-specific to be talking about her. Remember, in Ireland, we favour in our relationships a tiny bit of light slagging, and if you haven't watched any other videos of mine, slagging is a gentle teasing practice that we do in Ireland. So again, find something specific about her that you can make a little bit fun of. This is a delicate balancing act. So for example, if it's something you think that she'll be super sensitive about, like maybe the fact that she's missing a tooth or something, don't slag her about that. But something you could slag her about is, I don't know, if she turns up to the date with yellow shoes or something. That'd be something cute you could slag her about, and you could call her, I don't know, mustard or something. That's a really specific example that I just made up in my brain head, but you'll get where I'm going with it. I literally don't know where I came up with that. Next up, if I haven't emphasized it enough, creativity is better than cliche. So don't get an Irish girl red roses if you really want to impress her. As I'm shooting this video, today is Valentine's Day, so when I release it, it'll be the day after Valentine's Day. But I can't tell you how many guys I saw walking down the street with bunches of red roses. It's a very standard thing for guys to get girls, red roses. If you really want to impress an Irish girl, again, you need to do something that implies that you listen to her and you know what she likes. So if you've figured out what her favorite flower or her favorite chocolates are, go get that in the color that she likes. That shows you listen and you're actually interested in her and not just woman of certain likingness. The next thing is being quiet about your chivalry. Irish girls don't generally like you to be very, very showy about things. If I'm on a date, of course I'll appreciate a guy doing standard polite things like holding a door open, pouring a drink in my glass, even maybe standing up if I come back to the table. But less so than this is the quiet things a guy will do on autopilot that I will register. For example, if a guy walks on the roadside of the footpath without even thinking about it, or if I know him a little better and he sees me to my door, he waits for me to go inside before he leaves. Making a big deal out of paying for the bill and stuff like that just won't do it for an Irish girl. She wants to see what you're really made of and know what you're going to be like after all the first dates and initial impressing people stuff is done. The next one is so important, I actually can't put enough emphasis on this. Irish women are always cold. Your clothes are her clothes, especially if you get yourself into a relationship with her. You might think it's a moderate temperature of weather, but we will think it's
freezing.
And we want your jumper. It's ours. It's our jumper now. When an Irish girl has a boyfriend, you can safely assume she has a whole section of her wardrobe devoted to all the things she's borrowed off her boyfriend. And here's the thing, Irish girls have their own clothes. We got our own stuff, okay? But we like having your stuff. It's just a romantic ritual that we have in Ireland that we want to own your jumpers and your hoodies and your coats and whatever. It is not uncommon to see a couple walking down the road where the woman is bundled up in his jumper and coat and he's walking along in a t-shirt or a shirt, and you just look at that and you go, eh. Now the smart guy thinks ahead and brings a spare jumper. It's just, it's wise. And if you are so blessed as to make it to share a bed with a lady in Ireland, you better not complain when our ice-cold feet touch your feet, because that's just something you're going to have to deal with. It's your job to warm us up by letting us
parasite the heat.
If you've made it this far and think you'd still be interested in an Irish girl, fair play. The next important thing you need to know is that fine does not mean fine. If you are with a girl a little while, you better get good at reading her. If you ask your girl if everything's okay, and she replies like this, fine, or fine, or even
fine,
she's not fine. Except sometimes she actually is fine and you need to leave her alone. It's your job to read that situation, but let me just suggest, if you think you've done something to give her a reason to not be fine, she's probably not fine. She's not fine at all! The next thing that's super important when dating an Irish girl is the element of informality. In Ireland, we find directness kind of unnerving. So if you see the girl of your dreams across the bar, don't just go straight over and tell her you're interested, because that'll just freak her out and think you're a serial killer out to kill her. Figure out a way of sidling your way into the group that she's with. I find observational humour to be good for this. If you're in a supermarket, no man has ever approached me in a supermarket, but I've heard mythologically it can happen. Maybe you go up and ask her a question about something that she's got in her trolley. But that could be a little bit weird, because she could be like, well, why don't you ask somebody who works here, you feckin' weirdo. I'm not beeping the feck. The feck is acceptable. Or if she has a dog, you could talk to her about her dog, and she would like that. I love talking about my dog. The penultimate thing that is important to Irish women is respect. Now, respect means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and respect has different customs and rituals wherever you are in the world. So in Ireland, if you're in a couple, feeling respected means feeling you are valued as highly as a guy's best friend. So you better pull your socks up in that regard if it's something that you want in your life. And number one, numero uno, the most important thing to Irish girls is something that I only discovered through asking other Irish girls what they wanted. And this one doesn't even apply to me. It's shallow, but it's relevant. Irish girls like tall guys. When I started back on dating apps, I kind of freaked out over the fact that every guy would say,
5'11". Just saying, because this is important.
Or
6'1", I hear that's important.
And I was like, is it important? Apparently it's important. And then I started asking my girlfriends, and they all agreed they would not date guys who are shorter than them. I found this really interesting because I always found Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman to be a super iconic couple, so it never bothers me if I'm dating a guy who's shorter than me. But I couldn't do this list without making this the number one thing, because just overwhelmingly it kept coming back to height. You better get some lifts in your shoes, or some stilts, or I hear there's an operation. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm just telling you, it's gotta be on the list because it's it's relevant. And there's not necessarily anything you can do about it, but it's just a fact. So yeah. This month over on Patreon, I gave the people who were eligible for shoutouts a love theme, so that's what's going on here. My first patron I want to shout out is Michael E. Doherty, and his quote is from 12th Night, and he says, "Love sought is good, but given unsought, better." And he wants to give his shout out to his mum, who is celebrating her 83rd birthday this month, as well as her first grandson, who will be celebrating his 5th wedding anniversary with his wife, Patty. They're welcoming their first child in the spring, and that'll make his mom a great grandmother for the very first time. A lot of love going on there. And in contrast, Grimm Hades says he is going to stay single for Valentine's Day, but his love quote is, "Love we need, love we want, love is nothing that we flaunt, love is something that we seek, but love is nothing that is meek. Love is here, nor it's there, but when we find it, love is bare. With this I say, love is gay, happiness and something we will all find one day." Thanks, Grimm! That's super cute. If you did like this video, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Bye. Oh, I hit you in the head. I'm so sorry. It's not fine! In Ireland, we find... Excuse me. The amount of fellas on Tinder who have photos of dogs that aren't even theirs is not even funny. I didn't know you were there. I'm sorry. Do you want your toothbrush? I think you do. I'm sorry for hitting you with my hand.